Supposed to be my train for... Hi there guys, this is Max here, just checking in. I'm about to board my train to Swansea, stopping over at Bristol to interview Luke Dormehl. I'm super excited but a bit nervous. I know that he's been interviewed by a bunch of people and I don't really have a proper plan on how I'm going to do it. I mean, I've studied him a lot and then I've come up with a bunch of questions, but I'm still a bit unsure if, if he's going to be interested in this, if it's going to go smoothly and stuff like that. Also, I packed all the possible equipment that I could, a mic, a spare mic, a bunch of batteries. It's like a bit of a preparing for the world and kind of packing. But other than that, everything's cool. Just eating my banana. Obviously thinking about artificial intelligence. As always, this is going to be very exciting. I've never been to Bristol too, so that's going to be fun. He gave me his address, which I'm obviously not going to share here, but as I haven't been there ever, I'm not sure how to get there, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. I'm a bit early, so hopefully I'll have time for everything. So that's my train, 10:45 to Swansea. Just with this podcast thing in general, I'm not sure whether I should call it an interview or not. To me, it seems like an interview, certainly. There is a bunch of questions and you ask and then the interviewee answers them. But then I'm guessing podcast is a bit more like conversational style, which I think I like more. I don't like any rigid structures, so that it's going to be good. And also I emailed Luke Dormehl before asking him if he wants me to give him some topical points or, to give him an interview structure so that, I don't know, he feels comfortable with me and stuff like that. But he said that he's also not a fan of like rigid structures. So let's have a look at some artificial intelligence related news. 19 haircuts for older women. I'm not sure if I want to be looking at that. But 10 books for AI. Oh, it's a video. Just waiting for my platform to come on. Okay, this is not opening properly. Okay, how about this article by entrepreneur.com, 5 ways artificial intelligence is already influencing your life. And you don't even know it. Let's see. Okay, these are the 5 ways. Virtual assistants, such as Siri or Google Assistant, can not only recognize what you say in natural language, but even ascertain context and intent based on your tone of voice and request history. I mean, I think certainly virtual assistants is something that is going to be improving quite soon, and I think one of the well, it was very close. Now I'm going to be looking up.
I know. That wouldn't look good.
Yeah. Some little accident. Anyways, I think in the field of virtual assistants, there's certainly progress in... Sorry, what's that?
Should I hold it for you?
No, it's alright. Did you see this, by the way? You got, like, really lucky. As voice recognition develops, some of the software produced is not as user-friendly as it can be. So, for example, Alexa really understands. I have Amazon Alexa at home, and I try to use it as virtual assistant, and it really understands most of the things that I say. But in terms of functionality, I'm not 100% sure how to use it. So I think it's all about, with those virtual assistants, I think a very useful one is to schedule meetings over email. So there is a bunch of apps for that, and I can double check to give you a name. But I mean, it can be super laborious to schedule a meeting with someone, and then if an app synchronizes two calendars, that can be way easier. The voice recognition technology has developed at some crazy pace. I think just from 2010, it has improved like fourfold or something like that. I think by 400%. The quality of voice recognition, and then the possibility of a mistake has really dropped down. But in terms of using virtual assistants, I don't have the level of busyness to need it. And also I know that, for example, in somewhere like Philippines, you can hire an assistant for about £2 an hour, even £1 an hour. And you know, they would do quite an efficient job, so I'm not 100% sure if it says here that it's virtual assistants such as Siri or Google Assistant. I never use Google Assistant. I think it's just at home, actually I sometimes use dictation instead of typing. I think it's really faster. Obviously voice is the next thing, is the thing now really. This is why I'm doing a podcast and things of that nature. Voice recognition technology already enables you to speak a sentence in one language and have it translated to listener's language in real time. This is really interesting. I am multilingual. I know Russian, Ukrainian, English, tiny bit of Chinese. So that I'm really big on learning languages. I'm trying to get my sister to learn languages more, but not in order to communicate to other people. It's more about understanding other cultures and then enabling your brain to kind of flex those neural pathways and to develop. It's been proven that bilingual kids end up being smarter, conventionally speaking, on average, and their neural pathways are more flexible to new information, and I think that's great. Now, in terms of the actual use of a language, I think it's rapidly declining. As you know, those translate apps, Google Translate is not perfect, but then in terms of texting, it's quite amazing how you can communicate with very little friction. Sometimes there are some funny situations that are happening. You know, obviously Google Translate doesn't really get context that well, but I think certainly instant translation has a lot of use, because then it would eliminate friction even further, and then that would give people, you know, the ease of communication. But then I think I'm really cautious about what's going to happen to language learning, because it's a part of globalization process that I'm a huge supporter of. So that I'm hoping that people will not stop learning languages just because of the ease of translating. Third, recommendation algorithms on Spotify or Amazon make intelligent suggestions of products, books, and music that you may like. Now, initially when I thought about it, this is heavily debated, you know, on Netflix. When you watch something and then you get a recommendation, oh, you watch this, so you may like this. A lot of times it does work, so that a lot of the documentary suggestions that I got were really spot on with Netflix and the show suggestions. It's quite a basic algorithm, but then the more data you have, the more complicated it gets. As long as you use it for, as long as you use it for basically its purpose, which is suggesting to the viewers what they want to watch next, then I think it's great. As soon as you start using the data that you gathered for the purpose that is not really clear to the consumer, talking not quite Cambridge Analytica and Facebook levels, but even to market Netflix, for example, or Netflix, or be it Amazon Video, or to cross-sell it on the platforms. If it's Amazon, taking the data from Amazon Video and applying it to Amazon Fresh. I think this is when the questions arise, and this is when the friction might come between the consumer and the company. The map software on your phone makes route suggestions based on your previous travel patterns and current traffic conditions. I think GPS in general, as in travel software, has been around for a while, and it's still not perfect, but it's pretty damn close. You know, for example, right now I'm going to Bristol to meet Luke Dormehl. I have no idea where to go, and I am super calm because I know that Google Maps is going to take me there, you know, be it Apple Maps or, you know, whichever maps you're using. The same thing, you know, I booked my tickets on my phone, checked out the routes on Google Maps. So it basically tells you everything you need to know, and also you have to remember that it cuts down on the number of traffic accidents, because a lot of them used to happen due to a person holding a map, and then they check the map, and then there is a car in front, so that inevitably traffic accidents would happen, and they don't happen as often anymore for that reason. Now they do happen for a bunch of other reasons. For example, you check your phone for the maps, and then you crash into someone. That can happen. But I think in general, again, super useful tool, but to commercialize it, I guess you have to use that location data also to suggest things like restaurants, to suggest things like hotels, and maybe can use by railway companies, or... Is this me? Is this me? Is this me? This is me. This is me, platform 4. Woohoo! Hang on. Okay, let me check. Let me check the last one. The spam filter in your email. Software that quickly learns how to discern and sort emails that are relevant and necessary, and which ones aren't. I mean, I'm guessing this one is super useful. No one likes spam. Everyone likes no spam. So that if you have no spam, that's really the best course of action that you can take. Now, other than that, it wasn't that impressive. That's from 4. It wasn't that impressive of a breakdown, to be honest. But I think, especially the last one, you know, spam filters, those sometimes it does take out the stuff that I need, for example. Alright, now back on track. My train is departing soon from the Paddington station. My tickets have been acting out for some reason, so I have to convince the railway guys to let me in and tell them that I'm legit every time. Anyways, let me just get it. I think that's the one. Okay. Let's see now, this is my platform. I will attempt to get a... Let's see. Yes. Success. Sneaked into the train, didn't pay. No, I'm joking, I paid. Always pay for your tickets. But usually when, you know, in a situation when, in an unlikeliest of events, when I didn't get the right ticket, I just pretend to not speak English and be like proper Ukrainian tourist, like, I don't know what's going on, oh sorry, so sorry, so sorry. And then they're like, oh, that's fine, don't worry, enjoy London. I'm like, yeah, I live in London. Nah. Anyways, don't do that. But super excited to meet Luke Dormehl. I'm gonna work a bit more on the train, I'm gonna try to get a table. And I am coming in a bit. I'm not sure where the... I'm not sure where the tables are. Oof, it looks packed as hell. It looks real packed. Okay guys, getting on the train. Check. Hello there, and welcome to Max Talks AI. Today, a very special guest joined me, or rather, I joined him. I've got a slightly sort of circuitous route, I suppose, into technology journalism. I started out as a documentary filmmaker. I was making documentaries about really kind of quirky aspects of popular culture. And I think nowadays, if you're interested in popular culture, you sort of have to be interested in technology, just because it dictates so much of, I suppose, kind of the world around us. Do you, when you write your books or anything really, do you use voice recognition as a dictation as a tool, or
not really? I infuriate my wife by dictating emails if I'm outside, but beyond that, which is always, I don't know, it always sounds like this really pretentious thing if you're sitting on a train, sort of saying, you know, "Dear Max, comma, next paragraph, how are you today?" question mark.
what I meant.
So this is it. Wrapped up my interview with Luke. Couldn't really check out the Bristol city centre, even though my Uber driver was really persuading me to. But I didn't get to do it because of the time constraints. I had to go back home, and apparently the station that I came to, Bristol Parkway, is really far from town centre, so that it would have been quite a trip for me, which I didn't really want to undertake. Other than that, the interview went really well. I thought the conversation was really juicy in a way, and I think Luke and I clicked quite a bit. Super smart guy. Also, he was a very good host, and I also met his wife, who's very lovely too, and cute baby and everything. Yeah, Bristol is kind of peculiar like that. I didn't really get to see that much of it, but from what I saw, it just seems like an English little town kind of thing. They all have similar architecture and things of that nature. Just gonna say also, one of the things was that my camera kept not breaking down, but basically it kept stopping the recording, and then I had to boot it back up and re-record it, so that I lost like more than half of my footage. And also the battery ran out at some point, and also the memory ran out at some point. I'm not sure how this happened, but yeah, I'm obviously quite new with this, but I had an extra battery, I had an extra SD card, so I'm hoping that would have covered it. Wait a second, crossing the road. I only ate, as I said, I only ate 3 bananas today, and one like random peanut butter bar. So yeah, really hungry, but I feel like I was a bit nervous, but nervous and excited at the same time, and I feel like that adrenaline really made my hunger quite numb. So yeah, going back home, now I'm gonna edit the vlog thing, and I'm gonna edit the podcast, make sure it's nice and clean. I have the audio both from my side, so I recorded that with, oh man. So I recorded my audio with Audio-Technica microphone, and to Luke I gave a Tascam lavalier, and I think they worked well. Don't wanna, oh fuck, I gotta find a tree now. Alright, here it is. We talked a lot about films and documentaries, because I'm sure you can check out the book, Thinking Machines, and I'm thinking of doing a review on it, so that I didn't want to dig too much into the content, and I kind of wanted to get to know Luke, and also to, to connect with him for myself, and to provide some value to you guys. So we talked about artificial intelligence and jobs, whose task is it to educate the people on technology? Is it the task of a corporation that is employing them? Is it up to an individual? Or is the education system, so the public sector, is it for the public sector to educate those individuals? Also, we talked, prior to starting the recording, we talked about the Avengers, of course, and Luke's favorite superhero is Spider-Man, so that we talked about Venom and the way that Marvel really dominates the comic book space right now. So yeah, it was pretty good. It was like a really human conversation, which is exactly what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for like too interviewee style, and I know that he has some other content out, so I try to be a bit innovative with it and try to entertain myself. I then went on to film a quick video about the 5 big ideas that I picked up from Thinking Machines that I'm going to put out shortly, sort of very macro level, mostly my thoughts. And after that, I did some more email work and indulged into some meat eating. Oh yes. Thank you very much for watching this vlog, and catch you guys later. Bye!